Hello and welcome to Tabletop Oddity, and welcome to a new series that I'm calling Oddball. I say new, it's basically just been me talking about a subject. And the first subject I'm going to be talking about will be something like why I think Warhammer 40k should go pre-painted, but why it won't. Now, I actually think I should apologise for the title. It's a bit clickbaity because I actually don't think Warhammer 40k as a whole should go pre-painted. I just think either some of it could, or possibly even a different game, like not Age of Sigmar, but maybe like a Space Hulk, a Mordheim, those kind of sub games that I actually don't know too much about. I've never really played them, but something like that could go pre-painted. However, I will also explain why I think this, and I'll also tell you why I think Games Workshop will almost certainly not do. One of the reasons might seem a little bit reactionary, although saying that the game's actually been out quite a while. I am, of course, talking about Star Wars X-Wing, and obviously that game, fairly damn popular, and I'm not saying Games Workshop should rush to compete with X-Wing. That'd be a little bit ridiculous, but I think maybe X-Wing might spark Games Workshop to actually do something. However, X-Wing obviously didn't take over Warhammer in terms of sales just because of pre-painted miniatures, though I sort of suspect it might have a little bit of something to do with that. For example, it's a lot easier to get started in X-Wing than it is in 40k. And I think maybe X-Wing being in the market might persuade Games Workshop to actually have a bash at something, not necessarily a copycat game like X-Wing or even changing all of 40k, but might just tempt them to get in a little bit. Time is one reason I think I personally would like to see some sort of pre-painted miniatures. I don't think they should do the whole collection, not all of it. That'd be a little bit ridiculous, but and really piss off the purists. But I think maybe something like a starter box. Maybe the size of Dark Imperium, depending on cost, or even maybe something smaller where it's just like 10 aside, more like a Blood Bowl team or a Guild Ball team, something like that. But get a starter box out there, because, me and my girlfriend were trying to get into 40k. I used to play like Warhammer Fantasy and stuff like that, so it's not like I'm a complete noob or anything, but we bought the Dark Imperium, the new 40k starter box kind of thing, and it's taken me a while to, clip them out, assemble them, prime them, paint them, that kind of thing. And I'm very much aware that I could actually just assemble them, not bother with mold lines, not prime them, not do anything, and just play the game. But I don't really want to do that personally, because I don't want to attach the guns and have some like dodgier paint jobs, say, where I can't reach. But I think like a starter box that was pre-painted would allow me to just buy it, put it on the table, and already be on our way. And to be fair, it just takes a lot of time removing mold lines, gluing them all together, making sure everything's right, and you're not messing up your reasonably expensive miniatures. Can just take quite a lot of time. And I'm not asking for like sympathy or anything like that. It's something we all go through as part of the hobby. I just think like a pre-painted starter set could be a nice little we buy it, we put it on the table, and we play that day. And if you compare that to something like X-Wing, that is exactly what happens. You buy the box. We bought the box. We bought the core set of X-Wing. We put it on the table the same day. We played for a couple of hours. Boom, we're in. You buy more ships. Warhammer 40k, it's a little bit longer than that. I think as an entry-level product, a starter box really could be very appealing to some. However, I am aware that it could possibly inflate pricing, because I'm not sure how much or how little doing pre-painted miniatures would cost. You have stuff like Guild Ball, where it's a one-piece miniature, but they're not painted. There are like pre-painted models around, and the quality of them has got a lot better since like the old days, well, however long ago that was. But it's still, the cost would be a factor, and I'm not sure how much that would be. So that's why I would only say a starter set rather than like everything. And to be fair, cost is one reason why Games Workshop might not do this. If it costs too much, you can't get a full game of the 40k out, then they might think maybe not. However, if it was a separate game, if it wasn't 40k, if it was something like Mordheim, the cost is going to be compared to other costs of the same vein kind of thing. so there's not really a bigger worry there. But the cost could definitely mean a starter box of 40k is just too high for all I know. Also, Games Workshop might not want to do this because, quite frankly, it might annoy their main user base. Like, it might annoy the purists, the hardcore gamers. They might be like, oh, it's making it too casual. They keep dumbing it down as it is. We don't want to see, more and more casualness, although I think that's a little bit silly to say that, but you don't want to dumb down too far. You do want a complex sort of game, but I think putting your miniatures together, it's a fun part of the hobby for some people, and they might feel like that's being taken away from them. I think Games Workshop might be a little bit worried that if they did a pre-painted starter box, that they're sort of clickbaiting their audience a little bit, like I clickbaited the title. Do apologise. But they're clickbaiting the audience as like, maybe, Jimmy will walk into his shop, buy a box and think they're all like that. But I don't really think so. I think you can make it clear enough that, ultimately you're going to have to assemble your own and paint your own. But that wouldn't be the case if the game was a different game rather than 40k. So do keep that in mind. If though they did a starter box of say 40k and it was pre-painted, eventually as you upgrade your army and you expand your army, it might be that your pre-painted miniatures might not blend in to what your, like if you bought a pre-painted Space Marines, the Space Marines that I paint, they won't look the same. However, the ways around that are like repainting it, I should say. And then what do Games Workshop say? Do they say you should strip the original paint off and do it yourself? I mean, they could sell a ridiculously high-priced product to do that. Or you could just, prime over it and paint over it, and then it's not going to look as good anyway. Or, well, it's not going to look as good anyway. It's, you might lose a bit of detail kind of thing, so it might end up looking not as good anyway. And I just feel like it adds a complication in that Games Workshop might not really want to get involved in. There's some reasons why Games Workshop might not get involved in the pre-painted market, I guess we can call it. It's not the main reason. The main reason I actually think Games Workshop won't really stick their nose in is quite simply Games Workshop's Citadel paints. Now, Citadel paints, fine paints, however, they are quite known for being a little bit more expensive than their competitors. And, basically you pay more and you get a little bit less. And the reason I'm mentioning that, you might be like, well, obviously they can't sell them, but I think they're probably making quite a lot of profit on that. I've got no evidence to say that, but it's common consensus basically that the paints are a little bit on the pricey side. So if that's the case, when you watch a lot of tutorials and stuff like that, a lot of people do use Citadel paints because it's a lot easier to, match a colour to what it's supposed to be in the game kind of thing. And, if they're making a shit ton of profit on selling paints, if you start making pre-painted miniatures, well, that profit, it doesn't disappear. It would if all your miniatures were pre-painted, obviously, but, it's going to slightly decrease. So I think ultimately, as of right now, Games Workshop are probably making too much money on paint to decide not to sell pre-painted miniatures. Whether or not the money they make on the paint, gets outweighed by the money they lose against something like X-Wing, I mean, surely they have, market analysts and stuff like that deciding that. Hopefully they do. But yeah, they're the reasons I think Games Workshop won't. So this video just all stems around my personal situation at the minute. Putting together the Dark Imperium, I'm going to be painting my Space Marines, this weekend. And it's just taking quite a while. I spent so long trying to remove mold lines, and I didn't do it in the best way, but I spent a long time trying to remove them. And I just think when you compare this to something like X-Wing, where, as I said, you buy it, you put it on the table and you play, 40k has a little bit of barrier to entry. Yeah, you can go get a demo game, but they're not yours. It's not like you can buy it, take it home and play it that day. You have to assemble it and stuff like that. You can probably do it in a day, but you have to assemble it nonetheless. It's not as easy. And I sort of expect Games Workshop not to jump into pre-painted miniatures for 40k. I don't think they'll probably ever do that, or at least no time soon. And I think they'll probably do it with some sort of extra game, like a Mordheim, as I keep saying. Something like that. If they see the profits get wiped out a little bit too much by X-Wing, then you could see something like that. I don't think we'll see like an X-Wing clone, but you never know. You never know. It is Games Workshop after all. Probably make it and then stop selling it a week after. And, price would be skyrocketed. Actually sounds like a great idea. They'll probably jump on that. So yeah, there are reasons I just personally would like to see a pre-painted starter set. just to ease people into the hobby. And I think that's a perfect way of doing it. You could do a pre-painted set and a non-pre-painted set, and it'd be the same miniatures pretty much. And, you know, boom. I think you've got yourself a good job, a good deal. This is the first Oddball subject. I'm calling it the Oddball mainly because of the name, but I actually think that sometimes the subjects are going to be a little bit weird, and this is one of them. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do like, subscribe, share, Discord, Twitch, Twitter, everywhere, you know, everything. People, just whatever you want to do, like and subscribe. Bye. See you guys. Have a beautiful day.